If you're a director of operations in healthcare, you know the feeling, right? Your day is just this constant battle, putting out one fire after another. Staffing gaps, operational hiccups, last-minute demands coming at you from every single direction. You're a professional problem solver, but what if? What if you could move from constantly reacting to proactively building? Well, this explainer is for you. We're going to break down how to make that shift, to go from being the firefighter to being the architect of a system that just executes flawlessly. Let's dive in.
Okay, first, let's get real about the state of modern healthcare operations. It's this place where so many brilliant leaders, probably like you, feel completely stuck. It's a vicious cycle of chaos we call the operations trap.
I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's what I call initiative overload. You've got every department with their own critical project. Leadership has a brand new strategic plan, and guess what? It all lands right on your plate. Sound familiar? It's the sheer volume of competing priorities that paralyzes even the absolute best teams.
And look, this isn't just a gut feeling. The data really backs this up. Nearly half, 48% of hospital executives openly admit they're understaffed for the demand they're facing right now. That workforce shortage, plus the rising burnout, it just creates this unsustainable pressure cooker environment where everyone's constantly being asked to do more with less.
So what happens under all that pressure? Well, it forces a really dangerous reaction. We just jump into action on new projects way before there's a clear plan, before the team is truly aligned. And the result is always the same. Total confusion, you've got people working on the same thing without even realizing it, and those really important initiatives, they just lose steam and quietly stall out.
So what does all this chaos really cost you? What's the price your organization pays? Well, there's a name for it, the execution gap.
We have all seen this happen. The C-suite rolls out this brilliant 5-year plan, everyone's excited, and then a year later, absolutely nothing has changed. That gap, that space between the big idea and the actual result, it's filled with all the frustrations we know way too well. You have misaligned teams pulling in different directions, you get these critical communication breakdowns, and there's no clear ownership to actually drive anything forward.
Now, this slide is where it gets really interesting because it puts a hard number on that risk. Just take a look at this. A staggering 75% of large IT projects, we're talking about things like a new electronic health record or EHR rollout, they go completely off the rails. And it's not because the technology was wrong or the strategy was bad. Nope, it's because the execution, the day-to-day management of getting it done, totally failed.
And the consequences, they're severe. We're talking real money just wasted on projects that go nowhere. We're talking delayed returns on these multi-million-dollar investments. And maybe worst of all, we're burning out our best people. Every single stalled project damages your credibility and your team's morale. It's a huge problem.
Okay. Enough about the problem. Let's switch gears and talk about the solution. It is time to stop falling into the gap and instead start building a bridge to get across it.
Let's be honest, you and your team are already working as hard as you possibly can. The answer is not more hours, it's more structure. It's all about installing a dedicated system, a real operating model for managing change that makes progress predictable, visible, and most importantly, sustainable. And this table just brilliantly illustrates the two ways you can build that system. So on one hand, you could bring in an expert partner for, say, a 12-week sprint to rescue that high-stakes project that's gone off the rails. But on the other hand, you can invest in training your own managers, giving them the tools and the skills to build that execution muscle across the entire organization for the long haul. Okay, so let's get practical. What does this system actually look like on the ground? And let me be clear, this is not about adding more bureaucracy. It's about using simple, powerful tools to create clarity and momentum.
So, instead of those endless, year-long project plans that become totally irrelevant in a month, the whole focus shifts to a 12-week rhythm. This approach breaks down a massive, overwhelming goal into a manageable, quarter-long sprint. It forces clarity on what matters right now, and it builds incredible momentum as your team starts seeing real, tangible progress.
Now, this is one of my absolute favorite tools just because of its sheer simplicity. This 4-point script transforms those rambling, hour-long meetings into these super disciplined 15-minute check-ins. It puts the focus squarely on progress and blockers. It surfaces issues before they blow up into crises, and it just makes sure everyone stays aligned week after week after week. It's a game changer.
So, why does all this matter to you as a director of operations? Well, because the return on investment for disciplined execution isn't just a little bump. It's massive.
First, let's talk about cost avoidance. This ties directly back to all that firefighting chaos we talked about at the beginning. We know that the stress from poorly managed projects is a huge driver of burnout and turnover. Well, for every single 1% increase in nurse turnover, it costs the average hospital over $250,000. Creating a structured, predictable environment isn't just good for morale, it's a powerful retention strategy with a very clear financial benefit. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin, the revenue side. This is not hypothetical, this actually happened. One hospital improved its MRI scheduling process, a single, focused project, and by executing it well, they generated an additional $2 million in annual revenue. Think about that. Small operational improvements, when you actually get them across the finish line, can unlock enormous value. And when you apply this kind of discipline at scale, across your most important strategic initiatives, the impact is truly transformative. We are talking over $100 million added directly to the bottom line. This just proves that investing in an execution framework, it isn't an expense. It is an investment in a system that reliably turns your hospital's strategic goals into cold, hard financial results.
So it really all comes down to this. As you look at your list of critical priorities for this next year, what's the plan? Is the plan just to ask your already overwhelmed teams to work harder and just hope for the best? Or is it maybe time to stop being the firefighter and start being the architect by building a system that guarantees you'll get it all done?